Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Polkadot. We're going to be looking at this price appreciation that it's been seeing over the last several months. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the premium list if you want access to exclusive content, more content you'll get on the public channel. Check that out in the description below as well. So Polkadot is one we've been following since around $3 to $6. When it was back over here, I said, hey guys, we're probably going to look in the future, we're going to look back and note that this was a key accumulation time for Polkadot for the cycle. And as we look back, it was. And I think the likelihood of Polkadot going back to $3 ever is, well, I shouldn't say ever, but you know, for the foreseeable future, it seems very, very unlikely that we'll be heading back to those levels. And this was a crazy opportunity for Polkadot for the market cycle. Since then, we've moved up. We were back in this range up here that we were in earlier this year. So this shows me that a lot of these coins have been able to get back up to their prior levels. Which, you know, back in 2017, 2018, going later into 2018, a lot of coins were not able to approach their prior tops whenever we had that bounce, but that ultimately took us much lower. And what it shows is that I think there's still a lot of strength in the market. Now, right now, Polkadot is trading at around $37. And the range here that we spent a lot of time in back in, say, February through May was approximately $26 up to $45. So we're right in the middle, more or less, maybe a little bit to the higher side, but right at around $37. And I think the question is, you know, we know that a lot of other layer ones have put in new all-time highs. Cardano has, Solana has, Avalanche has, a lot of projects have. DOT has not yet, and I'm hoping that it will be able to. But we do know that it is highly dependent on what Bitcoin does. As long as Bitcoin's above the 20-week, DOT seems to be doing relatively well. I mean, if you look at the valuation against Bitcoin, DOT has been doing exceptionally well since the very last week of July. Okay, and right now we are getting close to the prior all-time high for the DOT Bitcoin valuation. We still have a ways to go. In order for us to get there, we would need to rally another 30% or so. So for a constant Bitcoin valuation, a 30% gain would actually get us back up to around $50 or so, give or take $1 or $2. But I do think that out of a lot of the different projects out there, I mean, there's all sorts of projects out there. We've spoken about many of them. It does seem like Polkadot is maybe a little bit more undervalued compared to where it should be relative to other altcoins, right? I mean, I'm not saying necessarily relative to Bitcoin, but I think relative to some other altcoins, it does seem somewhat undervalued. Now, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of this is highly dependent on Bitcoin. And of course, if Bitcoin fails to hold the 20-week again, then the entire market will pull back. But what I would say is that over the next year or so, I would anticipate Polkadot hopefully moving up the ranks a little bit more from where it currently is. And you know, I don't think that it's going to, say, overtake Ethereum or anything like that. But I do think that with what they're developing and the upcoming parachains, I mean, they do have execution sharding as well, which is a lot better than a lot of other layer ones. I do think it is somewhat undervalued compared to other altcoins. If you look at the DOT Ether valuation, it actually still would have a ways to go to get back to the prior all-time high. We're not going to include this launch, another 126% move. So for a constant valuation of Ethereum, you know, 126% move would take DOT up to $80 to $85 or so. Okay, so with DOT, I think that one of the things we've noticed is that it actually can move with Bitcoin, right? It can move with it as long as Bitcoin's not going parabolic. If you look at this move here, it's very similar. It's very similar to what we saw with Ethereum back in the day. That first initial move down in Q4, the move back up in Q1. We saw Ethereum do something incredibly similar, right? Incredibly similar way back when. Let's just go take a look really quick. So we're going to look at Ether Bitcoin back over here. So you can see that initial move really early on, that Q4 bleed move up in January. It then actually bled until December, and then it rallied again until June of 2017. For DOT, if we go take a look, again, it has a very similar structure here, then rallied and then moved down. So far, it only moved down till July, didn't even move down till December. But again, what it does show is that these projects can go through these cycles against Bitcoin where they sometimes underperform it, sometimes overperform it. So I'm not saying DOT's relatively undervalued compared to Bitcoin. I'm saying I think it's probably more so undervalued compared to some other altcoins. Okay, that's the whole speculation here. And what I'm hoping for is to see another rally like this one, because if you see Ethereum had this first rally and then it had a second rally that took it much higher than the first one, albeit it was about a year later when that occurred. If you go look at Bitcoin, it had this first rally. The second rally, I don't know yet if this is going to put a new all-time highs or not, but I would hope to see another subsequent rally later on. To compare it to Ethereum, Ethereum had a 1,700% rally followed by another 1,700% rally. If you go look at Bitcoin, the first rally here was around 3 or let's say 400%. I'm not sure if this is going to be the local bottom that will last for a year or not against the Bitcoin valuation, but a 400% move from there would actually get DOT all the way up to approximately 17,448. Okay, this is against its Bitcoin valuation, so in Satoshis. And again, a 400%, and so from the current prices, that would represent a 117% price appreciation. That would get us all the way up to, again, around the $80 milestone, which, considering that other projects have been able to put in more than their all-time high, some have gone double their all-time high, some have gone triple their all-time high, it seems reasonable that DOT should be able to attain these valuations, but I think the key thing is, can Bitcoin stay above the 20-week long enough for it to happen? And can it stay above the 20-week and not go parabolic long enough for it to happen? So I would say that DOT should have a fairly bright future ahead when we're thinking about the next 1 to 2 years. But of course, in the short term, it's always dependent on what Bitcoin does. And as long as Bitcoin holds the line above the 20-week moving average, then it seems like the path of least resistance for Polkadot would to be continue moving higher. Okay, I mean, if we look at the last several weeks, weekly opens. This weekly open was at 1265. This one was at 1375. Then 1842. Then 1967. Then 2317. 2771. 2572. 3446. 3580. So it's sort of slow and steady, or relatively slow, right? It's not that slow, but it's sort of slow and steady rather than just one candle up and another candle back down. I do think DOT is a solid project. Maybe we're coming back into this long reaccumulation zone, okay? And it could last several months for all we know. But keep an eye on DOT. We'll certainly talk about it in the future. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out the premium list. You can find that at intothecryptoverse.com. Click the bell icon to turn on notifications, and I will see you next time. Bye.